Hey folks, Jim Thomas here, Fitness Management and Consulting. I appreciate y'all being here at the channel today. And welcome back to all of our current subscribers. I appreciate you, as always, being here. And for you folks that are just finding us, you're new to the channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button. I appreciate it. And if you find the information that I provide beneficial, please hit that like button as well. And to learn more about me, learn more about my company and how we can help you grow and develop your business, please check out the links below. Check out the courses section with the gym management playbook, the gym funding link for you folks who are looking to expand or you need funding for a new operation. And for those of you that are not on our email list, click the link for that so you can be notified of new and upcoming events and things that are happening with our company and how we can help you. Now, our topic for everyone today, it's 12 ways to save a sinking gym business. 12 ways to save a sinking ship. Okay? And a lot of clubs, when they get into business, they get into it thinking, oh, this is going to be easy, this is going to be simple, and a lot of times we find out that it's more work than we thought, and we want to be able to get it back on track. And so what I want to do here is for you folks that maybe you find yourself struggling, take a look at some of these. Can we use these to help get you back on track? And if you're thinking about getting in the business, look at these and how can this become part of maybe our business plan to avoid some of these pitfalls. So we want to save that sinking ship. We want to save that sinking gym. Okay, and so number one, we want to assess the damage. Okay, we want to what is the damage here? What do we have? And I know a lot of times, when I'll go into an operation like this, we'll just evaluate each department. We'll evaluate, the front desk, what's working well, what's not, how are they set on process, how do they answer the phone, how are they handling a telephone inquiry, how are they tracking it, what's the sales process, what's the second sale, the third sale, what's our group exercise budget look like, what's our payroll budget. We're going to assess all of that. And then partially, depending on the situation, we're also looking at, hey, what's cash flow like? How much cash reserves do we have? Okay, we want to know exactly what we have. What do we have to work with here to get this back on track? Because if it's simply an operational thing, a process thing, we have that, and then maybe I might find it's an attitude thing is causing some of that, or maybe just an inexperience thing, or it's a fear thing. But we're going to go in there, we're going to assess the damage. Number two, I want to talk to customers and I want to talk to clients. Okay, I want to talk to any of my members. I want to talk to personal training clients. I want to talk to everybody. And partially, for me, I like to find out who's that bell cow in this facility, as I would call them. Who's that informal leader? I always like to get to know who that is because I want to make sure they're on my side. I want them saying, oh yeah, Jim Thomas is here. He's got some great ideas. Okay, and so make sure we're talking to our customers. We want to make sure our customers, our members, our clients, the folks we're training, we want to make sure they're on board with what we're doing and they believe in us. But maybe even getting their feedback, where do they stand? They might surprise you and say, well, yeah, we've actually looked at some other places that we're considering. Number three, trust your employees. Now, I can tell you what I do on this. When I come in and we're going to do a turnaround, we're trying to get something fixed, I will send over a get acquainted worksheet. And we go through a host of different things that we ask each person, each staffer, each employee to complete. And it's done confidential. It's strictly with me. The owners don't get to see this because I want the employee to feel like they can talk openly. Okay, so it's totally confidential. And so I'll ask them, I might even ask them, what would you do if you were the owner? Hey, what's the biggest problem here? What do you see as potential solutions? And so I want to hear what they say because, I do trust them. And I want to hear, kind of the pros and cons here. And because when I look at, getting something back on track, this is like the road we're going down. It's not a narrow road to get it fixed. It's kind of a wide road. A lot of things we can do. And if they're giving me some things that I think kind of fit this, I'm going to use them. I'm going to put them in there. And part of the reason I do is I know it's going to be 100% support, to get this back on track. So I'm going to trust, my employees. Number four, and this is kind of ongoing, but make use of networking. Make sure we're networking. I would take, maybe everyone watching right now, talking to you. Does everybody that do they know what you do? Okay, everybody that you know, do they really know what you do? Okay, I mean, I know over the years, building clubs, I had folks that come up to me and they thought I was, stacking basketballs over in the corner, which was not true. Okay, but that wasn't their fault. That was my fault. Okay, I didn't really properly let them know what I do. One of my favorite stories was back in those early days of learning how to sell and really not knowing still. And I'll never forget, it was late morning. I saw somebody who was still in the club, and I walked up front and said, "Hey, what are you doing here?" And he goes, "Well, Jim, yeah, I brought in a friend of mine. I think he's going to join. I'm just waiting on him." And I'm thinking, oh, I may have a sale here, which I didn't have too many at the time. And I said, "Well, where is he?" And he goes, "Oh, well, he's talking to one of the sales guys." And I said, "Well, what did you think I was?" And he goes, "Well, Jim, I had no idea." Okay, and this is the thing that I find about network. We want to network with as many people as we can, letting people know what we do. Okay, but then also when we're networking, how can I serve you? How can I serve you? I like to sit down and talk, learn more about your business and how I can refer business to you. Because the more you do that, the more you'll get back in return. So, don't underestimate the power of that. Number 5, we're trying to save this sinking ship. We've got to manage our money better. Okay. And this can take some hard choices, hard decisions, but you must have cash in the bank. You can't run negative. It may require reassigning some staff, may require cutting some hours. It may require, talking to your landlord and, hey, we're going to have to hold up on rent for a bit. Whatever it's going to take, but you have to have money in the bank. You can't continue to run at a deficit. You have to eliminate programs that aren't working, people that aren't producing. You've got to manage your money. Okay, and you've got to have real tight budgets in place to do that. Start looking at reducing your expenses. Okay, it sounds like, well, sure, why wouldn't you? But there's a lot of folks that won't. They don't want to make that hard choice, that hard decision. But do it based on the math. Do it based on the math. If you have programs that aren't working, now's not the time to keep them. If you have staff that's not producing, now's not the time. Okay, we need production now. If this thing is sinking, we need production now. Sometimes these hard decisions need to be made, because if you don't, you're not going to have a business they can all come back to anyway. Okay, so look at how do you reduce these expenses, and and work in that with how do we become more effective at everything else that we're doing. Number 7, you want to use online tools. You want to utilize technology. And what I mean by this, you don't need to do every single thing. We don't want to become just overburdened with technology. You don't need every shiny object. But the online tools you want, how do you scale your business? How can we scale this? How can we duplicate this? I mean, something as simple as email marketing. I mean, you could get an email out to 5,000 people with just one click. Okay, but there's a lot of folks that don't do it. Okay, same thing on text marketing. One click and thousands of people can get your message. You can follow up with every inquiry you've ever gotten with one click. Okay, where it automates it if they don't respond. So use your online tools, but the idea of the online tools is how do we scale this? How do we automate it? Don't get so much you get overwhelmed, and certainly don't take the human element out of things. Number 8, and in some ways number 8 here is sometimes causes some of this, is quality marketing. And I would say quality and quantity. I mean, the biggest issue that independent gyms have is that no one knows who you are, and those that do, they don't have you at top of mind. And so the idea is we want to get known by everybody in the community. That's what the goal is, okay? And we want to put a strategy together to be able to do that. But it needs to be done cost effectively. We're not trying to buy our business, so to speak. And what's interesting on this, so many places, they don't have strong point of sale referral programs, strong member referral programs, or even email programs promoting referrals, or even on our website promoting referrals. Your cost on those programs is pretty minimal. It's the number one source. Even good marketing programs to former members, it's a high source of new membership sold. Okay, creative ways to do corporate marketing. Okay, there's an awful lot you can do here, but quality marketing is a big issue there. So really look at your marketing. I mean, we want to hammer it, okay, but we have to do it, smart. We can't just overspend on it. also, when you're looking at this, you're trying to save this sinking ship, save this sinking gym, is let's be looking for long-term solutions. Okay, and part of the long-term solution, could be how do you recruit, how do you hire, and how do you train all your staff. Okay, good quality staff that stays with you long-term is one of the best solutions that you can get. Long-term solutions, how are you going to keep your gym, how are you going to keep your facility as new today as the day that it first opened? How are we going to do all that? Okay, so look for long-term solutions. Number 10, stay objective on this. Okay, this is not a make me proud of you session. This is not a kick me session. Make sure it's an objective understanding of what's happening. And for me, the way I like to do that to make sure it stays objective is just always do the math. The math won't lie to you. The math is going to be real. Okay. Number 11 on our list, go back to square one. Go back to the very beginning. Okay. What's working, what's not working. Okay. What are our goals, tangible and intangible. Okay. What's our plan? How are we going to handle roadblocks and setbacks? And just make sure all the fundamentals are being done. Our telephone inquiry script, do we know it? Are we logging them in? It's amazing how quick we can get off this stuff. Okay, so many clubs over the years where I've gone in and seemingly got them turned around in a day. It was nothing more than me picking up the phone and calling back all the previous telephone inquiries. Go back to square one. Go back to basics. Go back to the fundamentals. In many cases, this is where we got off course to begin with. And then number 12, the last one on my list, protect your assets. Okay, now I want to say this about protecting your assets. Make sure you protect your number one asset, and that's you. You are the most valuable asset to all of this, because without that, there is nothing else. Make sure you're getting plenty of rest, you're eating right, make sure you're working out. Okay, make sure you're taking care of yourself. You are the most valuable asset. But then also protect your other assets too, from a legal standpoint. Okay, so 12 ways to help save a sinking gym business. Really look at these. Okay, if you're looking at getting into this, look at each one of those. What can we do initially? And there's a lot you can do. If you're in business right now, it's not going the way you want, look at each one of these. Where are there mistakes right there? Where can we go back and fix this? Because there is always going to be a solution for you. Folks, my name is Jim Thomas. My company is Fitness Management and Consulting. As always, I appreciate you all being here at the channel today and look forward to seeing you all in that next video.